So let's see a demo of the JobMailer app. So this is an AI-powered web app that helps you to generate professional job application emails and interview question in just a few clicks. Whether you're applying for a job, networking, or preparing for interviews, this app makes the process seamless. So let's see each step in this demo. So first step is simple. You just enter a job description or any other details about the email you want to generate. This is the foundation of how the app customize your email. So technically we store this input, like whatever the user input or job description, we are going to store it in a Streamlit session state variable. This keep tracks of user interaction throughout the session. So the session state help maintain data flow between different action inside the app. So let's copy a job description. I copied one of the job description from the LinkedIn. This job is for a senior data analyst. So yeah, so this is for a company called NetEffect. So I just copied it from LinkedIn. So let's copy a resume. So next step 2 is this is an optional step. So if you want to optimize the email based on your resume, you can add your resume as well. So I just downloaded one of the resume from Google. So just I'm copying it over here. Yeah, so once you upload the resume, then behind the scene we use a Python library called PyPDF. This will read the text from your PDF file, so and it will extract the text and it will send to LLM. So let's click on let's this is like the optional customization of the email. So we can set the email tone, we can select the length of the email, and this is a future enhancement where we can add more email types. As of now there is only job application, so we can have more email types over here, to which we can generate emails. So let's go for a medium email and formal tone, and let's click on generate email. So once you click on generate email, the app formats your input as prompt. So if you just click on generate email like this, then the app will format your input as a prompt, and it will also attach the resume content, and it will send it to the LLM. So here as I told, I'm using GPT 3.5 turbo model. So this will process the information and returns a well structured email. So the response is displayed in the app for you to review, edit, or copy. So once we have the email generated, so we can send the email in the same app. So we are sending email via Zapier. So once we are happy with the email, you can send it directly through Zapier. How does this work? So the app connects to Zapier webhook, which I'm going to explain in detail when I'm giving you a code demo. So it will connect to the Zapier webhook, which acts as a bridge between our app and email services like Gmail. So I have configured Gmail for my case. Once we enter the email ID, for example, I have created a test email ID for testing purpose. So this is the email ID I want to send. So once you click on send email, this will send the email successfully to this particular email ID. So the from address is configured in Zapier. So it will send the email. So after sending an email, suppose we want to generate interview questions based on the job descriptions. So then this app is using again OpenAI's API to generate the interview question. So I'm sending the job description to OpenAI. So along with email generation, it will generate the interview questions. So we click on generate interview questions over here, And these are some sample interview questions. So with just a few steps you can generate professional emails, tailor them to your needs and send them instantly, and even prepare for the interview. This is all using the power of AI. So let's see a code demo now. So first we have all the import statements. So before we begin, we need to load the sensitive information like OpenAI API key, Zapier webhook URL into our .env file. So once we have the information loaded into env file, we can start by loading the env file. So we have some of the import statements here, like we are using Streamlit to create the UI, OpenAI to create the LLM model, to import the LLM model, and OS and .env to import the environmental file, and PyPDF to read the PDF resume that we are going to upload, and the request is to invoke the Zapier webhook URL. So this line is to load the environmental file. So environmental file, I have the OpenAI API key saved as this variable. So I am fetching it from the environmental file and I am saving it to the API underscore key variable. So if API key is missing, we stop execution with an error message. So after that we are creating a client using the API key, and these are the some of the session state variables that I am declaring, which I am using later in my code. So I'll tell you the importance of session state variables later. For now, let's go ahead. So first step is to extract the text from the resume. So once we upload a PDF file into my app, so this particular method is invoked where I am reading the PDF file. So I am using PyPDF library to do that. So it extracts text from each page using page dot extract underscore text. So this particular function will extract each page. So this is a list comprehension. So it will loop through each page and extract all the text information from all the pages, and it will join with the line break character. So this is like a entire text is extracted and it is returned from this particular method. So after this we are generating a email from OpenAI LLM. So we are using GPT Turbo 3.5 Turbo for this purpose. So first let's see how we have designed our prompt. So before that, let's see the length tokens. So here you can see the length tokens. So short, medium and long. As you can see, we have an option for user to select the length of the email. So we are selecting short, medium and long here. So I'm assigning the tokens for each length. So this is a dictionary that we are created, and we are fetching the token based on the user input. After this, the most important prompt is part is prompt engineering. So here we craft a detailed prompt for OpenAI. First we are giving the input, like topic is nothing but the user input, like the whatever the job description he has pasted over here, then tone of the email, length of the email and purpose of the email. So after this so it will create a prompt. So it has the resume details. So next is to get the resume details. If user has uploaded a resume, so we are extracting the summary part from the resume and we are sending it to the LLM along with the prompt. So then we are giving the LLM like a detailed prompt saying that it has to begin with dear hiring manager, it has to end with the thanks and regards, and we don't want email to be cut in between. So we are making sure that the email is within or less than the email length tokens. So we have to give a detailed prompt for LLM to generate a precise email for us. So after this I'm invoking the model. This is the model GPT 3.5 Turbo, and we are having a role system and user. For system role, I'm sending a message that you are a helpful assistant that generates professional emails, and for user role we are sending the prompt that we created. And maximum tokens is like whatever the tokens that we have for the user who has selected. Now we have to set the temperature for the LLM. So what is the temperature setting here? The temperature setting controls the randomness of the model's response during the text generation. So what does the temperature do? Low temperature, if the temperature is less than 0.5, then model will generate more predictable, focused and deterministic response. So when the temperature is low, model tends to choose most likely next word. So most predictable next word, that was or the phrase based on its training. So based on the model's training, it will predict the next word. This makes the response more coherent and it's less creative. So if we set the temperature above 0.5, like 0.7 or more towards 1, then the model generates more random, creative and varied response. With higher temperature, model takes more risk in selecting less likely words or phrases. So this is giving liberty to model to be more creative. So then it will return the response, and it will create the response, and we are returning the response from this method. So after this, let's see, generate interview questions. So here we are generating the interview questions based on the job description that the user has copy pasted there. So again we are using GPT 3.5 Turbo model. So with this we are first creating a prompt with a job description and the resume text. So based on which it will generate the interview questions for the user. So we are calling OpenAI and sending the prompt to generate the interview questions. So this ensures we get at least 5 relevant questions for the user. So after this, we have the next method, which will send email via Zapier. So once the user finalizes the email, we send it using Zapier. We fetch the Zapier webhook URL from the environmental variables. So we send an HTTP post request using the email data. So we are creating a HTTP post request over here. So once it is successful, then it will send the 200 code, which is a response code. So it means the emails has been sent successfully. So I'll explain the Zapier part in detail later. So let's see how the UI is created first. So we have a title, JobMailer AI, and we have a user input. So this is to get the input from the user, and this next is the customization of the sidebar that we have, like if you want to see, yeah, so this is the sidebar, so short, medium and long, and all the information. So then we have resume text. So here, as I told you, my email purpose is job application for now. Later we have a scope to enhance more for based on our customization. So after, now we have generate email button. So once we click on generate email button, so if user has already have a input, like he has copy pasted whatever he need, job description, or type down like what he needs in the email, then we are invoking the generate email from OpenAI method. So you can see this method above here, so which gets all the input email tone and length from the user, and it will invoke the generate email from OpenAI method, the response from which is the email content from the LLM. So I am storing it in session state variable. So session state variable is used here to maintain the content of the variable. So when we have multiple user interactions in Streamlit, so once whenever I'm clicking a button, then Streamlit will run the entire code again. So in that process, whatever already populated content or generated content will be lost. So if you want to retain the content, then we have to use session state variables. So I'm using this variable here to store the generated email content, after which I am just displaying the email content over here. So yeah, we have given an option to edit the email before sending. If they want to edit the experience or add any more skill set, they can do that. So after that, we are going to send the email. So we are going to click the send email button here. So once we click the send email button, we have to enter the recipient email ID. Then we have to click on send email button. Once send email button is clicked, it will check whether there is a generated email and email ID is present. Then it will create the JSON payload here. So it is creating a input for the web URL. We are sending we are sending the input data to the Zapier webhook URL. So we are sending the HTTP post request here. So the payload will be like to subject and body. So once this information is generated here and we invoke send email via Zapier. So in Zapier we have already set our action as a Gmail. So once the URL, the webhook URL is invoked and all this information is sent, so it will populate the Gmail action with the corresponding information, and it will trigger a Gmail email via our Gmail ID. So once we send the URL, so let me show you how to configure Zapier first, how Zapier works. So we have to create a Zapier webhook first. A webhook is like a messenger that lets your app send data to another system whenever a trigger happens. For example, when a user submits a form, the data can be automatically sent to Zapier to trigger an action like sending an email. So in our case, when we click on send email button, it will send the information to Zapier, which will in turn trigger the Gmail action and send email on behalf of us. So this is like an automation tool which will help us to send emails in my case. So this is I have created a webhook, Zapier webhook, and then I have created a catch hook. So once we create the webhook, then it will give us an endpoint URL. So let's save this endpoint URL in .env file, which is actually accessed by my code. So after this, we can configure the action as Gmail. So the Zapier captures and maps the data. So Zapier catches the incoming data which is in JSON format. So it will map it to an event called catch hook and validates the request. So after that, we are adding a action as Gmail. So Zapier will use the data received from the webhook to format the email. The request include authorization and the email data. So once we are adding this Gmail into Zapier, we have to give access to our email ID. So it will ask you the email ID, and also it will ask you to configure the incoming payload from webhook to the Gmail. So whatever the to, from, subject, everything has to be mapped when we are creating an action over here. So how does it work? So web URL is triggered by an event. Then next step, Zapier captures and process the data. The data is mapped to the Gmail action, and Zapier sends an email via Gmail API. So that's it. You have successfully automated an email sending with Zapier. Now let's see how generate interview question button works. So once we have sent the email, we can generate the interview questions. So we are invoking the method generate interview question. So we are sending the user input, that is nothing but the user question or the job description along with the resume text. So this will generate the interview questions. So this is my app, so this is how it works. So there is lot of scope for improvement and customization over here. We can add additional email types, and we can give more formatting option for user. uh, so all this can be done. So once I'm working on those, and um, I will enhance the app. I'll be making more videos. So this is it for today. Thank you.